it's quite an interesting week, a week where we've seen a lot of things happening in this country and beyond. It's your favorite show. It's your biggest conversation.
Yes, it is.
It is Let's Be Real this Sunday evening. And of course, I'm your host, CEO Charles Otieno, with the big hitters in the house. The beautiful one on my left.
Yeah, Dr. C.
It's your name. It's your name, right?
It's my name, yeah, Dr. C. And and today I want to start with a remark. I know we are not yet in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm CEO and founder of Samantha's Bridal, Samantha's Wines, and later on I'm going to be commenting about how Kenyans have reacted to the wedding I reviewed last week about conspicuous consumption of wealth. I think we need to bring back shame into the society.
Hey.
And use money wisely. And I'm Maria. I'm so happy to be here. I'm the author of Love the Original You, Marriage is a Scam, and I am also the editor of The Young magazine.
Okay, nice. Maria, you're also looking good in that purple.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I'm the one and only Simon Says. I'm the person that you reach out to when your social media, they're not maybe working properly for your business or your personal brand. That's who you reach out to. And one group of people I also want to give a shout out to is actually Mada School. You know, those kids, they're a lot smarter than some of our leaders out here. That is the truth. Isn't that right, CEO?
For sure.
Hey.
And I think that brings us to our first story.
What is that story?
It is interesting that last week, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Samoei William Ruto, decided that they want to build a church worth 1.2 billion in State House. The same week, Mr. President decides to say that you can shoot protesters on the feet.
Wow.
The same time, Kipchumba Murkomen, the Minister for Internal Security, decides to tell Kenyans that if you attack a police station, you'll be shot dead. Shoot to kill. I do not understand what's going on in this republic.
Dr. C, don't you need some wine for that, first of all, to take that down?
Yes, I think so.
Don't you need some wine for that? But yes, go ahead. Tell us your thoughts, Dr. C, as we begin.
I thought you should start first.
I start?
Yes.
All right,
since
fine.
you're the
We're
one.
going to start with violence today.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
And we are
Then
all
let's start.
Kikuyus, remember?
Huh?
We are all
Oh,
Kikuyus.
Oh, yeah, but
Oh,
there, yes.
I have
we're
a
all
Kikuyu
Kikuyus.
name, by the way.
What is that? What is your Kikuyu name? What is your Kikuyu name? What is your Kikuyu name? Mso. Now let me say.
The one that talks about money.
Yeah,
Which is a Kikuyu name for money?
I think all Kikuyus are
Besha.
money.
Besha is my new name.
Dr. Besha.
Yes.
Now, one thing I would say about this is, here's the truth. The Kenyan people need to listen and recognize this. The Kenyan government is actively at war with you. The Kenyan government has actually chosen to wage war with you. And how does this war actually even look like? For example, economically, they will shut down Nairobi when you want to protest, and then shutting down your ability to actually earn any income. And then they'll say they're doing it for you what? Protection. Second thing is this. They will actively make steps to put your security at risk and even come for your family and even take the life of even your little ones. There was a young girl in Kiambu who was actually even shot dead in Sabasaba. That is the truth. Another issue is this. The Kenyan government is actively at war with you when they are actively choosing not to listen to your grievances, but to actively do what? To make other narratives to say that indeed you are the one with the problem. It's not us. It's you who is actually bringing a lot of insecurity. It is you who actually is not taking advantage of the government opportunities that are actually out there, when those government opportunities don't lead to actually anything, and they lead you to actually going back to the same economic situations that you're in right now. The government is at war with you when the government is actively not bringing you to the table, not to listen to you, for active steps to be taken so that you can have a better life within Kenya and not constantly lining up to get your butt outside of Kenya, because you know very well here we are indeed going through it. Do you know why? Because the Kenyan government is actively at war with you to criminalize you, to tell you that you're the terrorist, to tell you that you're the problem, to tell you that indeed it is your fault. Shida ni wewe. That's what the Kenyan government is telling you. When they tell you things like that, they're at war with you.
Maria?
The distraction is too much, like literally. There is so much distraction in the country whereby every day there is news. But then there's one question I want to ask CEO, because you might have an insight. Who are the members of that church that is being built?
This,
I need to know.
Ruto and his family.
I need to know the members, because the budget is so high that the kind of church he intends to build has to be somewhat so big. So,
you see, in this country, naturally, what do? You budget for corruption.
oh yeah. But he said the money is his and Shetani asimulize. So anyway, this is the point. The reason why stop laughing.
Continue.
The reason why we will continue, like it's like right now, the protesting and the news that comes after it is more like a gimmick to delay. It's a delay tactic to get to election. Isn't this looking like all the distractions? Because I don't see, first of all, the disrespect to the disabled. I'm saying is a disrespect to the disabled, because you won't say that you're going to shoot people legs, make people disabled because they are trying to fight for their rights and the economic stability of this country. So that is not making sense. So are we going to have elections in 2027? And if anyone is vying against the current government, what are they doing about that? Because if they're doing nothing about that, it feels like they're all on the same team and we are the ones who are going to be protesting. And one day, another child will be watching TV and a gunshot happens to enter the house. So where are we headed to?
Dr. Z.
Dr.
Yeah. So for me is to say that to just call for restraint on both sides.
Both sides.
Yes. I think we are taking for granted as Kenyans, the citizens and even politicians, the peace that prevails in the country. Now, this thing has morphed into something else. Yeah. Yes, there's a protest that we have, but I feel so that we need to know who are these goons.
The government, just the government.
We just need to know. I don't know whether they are, I will not comment on that, but I'm just saying that whoever is financing these goons, they need to know that you cannot take your whole family out of this country, because these are the beginnings of what we've seen in many nations when they actually fall apart. Yeah. So I think so that even politicians need to restrain themselves and not to talk in very arrogant, chest-thumping way. This is part of what is really annoying Kenyans. And so I really call for restraint, because I was alive during the 2007-2008 post-election violence, and none of us imagined. We all went to vote. For years, we had very peaceful elections. And overnight like that, overnight, it was really bad. Now, on the night of Monday, the night of Sunday, now we're going to Monday, my house manager had traveled to Western Kenya. It was very difficult to get to Nairobi. Yeah. There were bonfires on the road. It was it was reminding of that time. And that's why I'm just saying, like, I was alive. A lot of the people, some people were not alive. I have had, my mother-in-law lived through 2 wars, 2 world wars, Auschwitz, 2 world wars, 2nd World War, and the stories she would say, listen, Kenyans, let us restrain ourselves on both sides.
Sure.
Dr. C, it is very good to restrain yourself, but we must address the issues of these nations.
Straight on.
Yes.
And we must make sure that the government is listening to the citizens. We cannot have a failed state. It is not a failed state. It's a failed political class. And let us differentiate it. The failed political class, and we are saying both the government politician and the opposition politicians, because they are not looking at what is necessary to move this country forward. What the Gen Z are asking for are very basic things. It's a national conversation. How do we share the national resource equitably? Number 1. How do we get for them jobs? Number 2, it is government prerogative to create employment or create a conducive environment for employment. So now, when you start bringing intertribal issues around what is national issues, then I have a problem with it. That is my biggest problem with this government, because they are bringing issues which are not there. And Kenyans should not fall for the usual tricks that, oh, you know, this will happen. I'll remind you a story of 500 BC. The Persian king was called Cambyses II. Cambyses II had the high court judge was called Siasmenes. And the argument was that the society was supposed to be just and fair. Now, one day, the Supreme Court judge of that time decided to pass an illegal law. And the king, Cambyses, called him and asked him, what do you want us to do for you? He said, can you nominate your successor? He said, please nominate my son. So they nominated his son, Otanes. When Otanes became the high Supreme Court judge, the king ordered Siamesnes to be skinned alive. Skinned alive. And he was skinned alive. And you see the way the
skin,
the skin was used to be the seat of the new judge, who was his son, just to remind his son that if you treat people unfairly, you will end up like your father.
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing even to remind even people, if you actually treat people the way they're treating them right now, to even a kid even in Mada school even knows, Ruto must. And it's not even something that's even like CG only grown up, CG is restricted to whatever. Apana. This is something that even kids even see.
Let's
on.
move on to
Let's go to the next story.
Yes.
Let's go to the next story, Dr. C.
Yeah, with all that, today I have decided I'm going to just be the bearer of good news. Now, earlier today, I had an opportunity to meet the children from Madaraka School.
Yeah.
And wow, it was, well, some of them could recognize me as a celebrity star from some of the shows. But it was heartwarming because as I was talking to them, I was asking them, what do you want to be when you grow up? It brings me to the next story. A lot of them want to be doctors, they want to be footballers, they want to be journalists, engineers, pilots. There's a lot of hope.
In there.
For the children. I never had anyone, none of them say they want to be politicians.
No.
It means politicians are having a really bad example. But the whole essence is that there's a lot of hope in Kenya, because imagine even within the confusion that we have, the riots, a big study was done and it was found that Kenyans are the most entrepreneurial in the whole wide world. We are the most entrepreneurial. And by the way, this is not a new finding. It's about, you know, they take like a couple of 1,000 people, a sample of 1,000 people and sample. Part of the question is about nationalism. How many people want to stay? Consistently, a lot of Kenyans want to stay in Kenya, but now that one is going down. But also consistently, all of us want to get into a venture. Yeah. But now when you dig deeper into what kind of a venture they are starting, most of them are actually are going broke. Yeah. But yet, they are still going for these ventures. Some of them very high risk. Crypto, there was that egg, what was it? Those eggs?
Quail eggs.
Quail eggs.
That was a while back.
They're getting involved, including even into very risky ventures where they know they'll even lose money consistently, it's been shown. So for me, I just say, in light of what we are discussing, number one, somebody asked me the other day, what do you think, when you look at 2007, 2008, what was the critical thing you can say made people stop fighting? And I answered them, it was the hope of the Kenyan people. And right now, what do you think is making Kenyans, one day they are rioting and the next day they are back to the day-to-day business? I say it is the hope of Kenyans. And I think that's why a lot of us, including myself, I'm an entrepreneur, I own several businesses. I think that's why we always get involved in business. And I think it is commended. So I think I'll let you guys, I'll stay away from politics, even though I dabbled in there. But what do you think?
Okay, I'll start by saying, did you know that Kenya is the first country to trust the message as money? Like, you can actually send someone a message, you have received money, you are using money, and they were the first. It was tested in India, it did not work. It was tested in Nigeria, it did not work. But Kenya, they have a huge trust when money is involved. A very huge trust. Now, here's the problem. They also take big risks. It's a good thing, but also it's not so much of a good thing. For Kenyans, if you come right now and tell them, this will make you money, immediately they jump into it. Because for them is, how fast can we make that money and how much can come out of it? That is the one issue I have with Kenya. But at the same time, the fact that we also get to experience having good money from the risks we take, or the fact that we can start any business and go with it, like everywhere is a business opportunity. I will start with, if there's a funeral somewhere, a lot of people are not seeing that there's a funeral. A lot of people are seeing that, what am I going to sell there? If there's a graduation somewhere, that place will be full of entrepreneurs than parents in that graduation. So we tend to love being entrepreneurs and selling and taking big risks, regardless of what and how we look like, because in funeral though, but yes, how we look like. But at the same time, I feel like when it comes from an international market, something like crypto, stock and all that, first of all, some of them are liars. Let me start with these people who put flashy cars on the road that I got this from, what do they call them?
Forex traders.
Forex traders.
Yeah.
FX.
Yeah.
And they are showing off cars and big mansions and saying that this is my 7th car. Next thing you know, they are crashing those cars. I don't know how that works. So most of them are liars. And
When you
they
see
are
those
calling
big
people
fat cars
Yes.
anywhere, just know it's a con.
It's a con.
But also let me add to that. All banks, when they want to test, most banks, want to test a new technology, especially if it involves money, they always test it in Kenya first. This is a
Yes.
fact you didn't know. All of them. If it works in Kenya, then they implement.
Because
Not even in India.
we'll take the risks and we will put our money in it. That is where we are loved for that.
You know, I've heard that because all these risks that we're taking, when you're poor and when you're in poverty, you tend to want to do anything to get yourself out of that mess. Yes. Nobody glorifies poverty anymore. Even the kids, even little kids, even say, "Babangu akanagai kubwa," and then you as a father, if you don't have the one being laughed at, you need to also step it up. Nobody celebrates poverty nowadays. You need to actually look for ways in which that you can actually even get an income, because you're in a situation in which employment is not going to be actually now something you can actually even get. That is actually a true harsh reality. When you now think about, even what I hear is that Kenyans, we are innovative. Kenyans, we make sure that we go out of our way to make sure that even if we are oppressed by the current regime that's even leading us, we are making sure that we get a coin in our pocket. Even if it means that we go sell masks during the protests. Even if they want to shoot us, we're going to go and sell those masks there. Because indeed, we recognize that indeed our main core thing is economics, and we are also very commerce society, which is a very good thing, but it also has its downturns. How? We are also very fickle to be sold a lifestyle, not the process to get the lifestyle. You're sold that indeed success looks like this, and it's worn by, and it's people who actually are successful dress like this and they talk like this, but you're not taught that indeed there is a process in order to actually acquire success. Crypto in itself is all of these things. I would not even say that they are scams, in the sense that you are the one being scammed by someone who's actually doing it for their own lives, and they're scamming you to portray the lifestyle that they have. So someone can be doing something and get an outcome out of it. Kenyans are quick to duplicate that something and then wanting the same outcome. What you don't recognize, there is a process in which that person used to get that outcome. So Kenyans, we need to actually look inward and recognize that indeed, before you start pointing fingers, oh, how ni scam, those guys are witch doctors, those guys are whatever, but you need to recognize.
Doctors are not real.
Well, hey.
Doctors are not real.
Hey, you say that, you come crawling backwards here. But I would not want to say that.
I'm
but
from Kisii.
Yes, where? But that's the truth. Kenyans, let's just make sure that indeed, whatever outcome that we see is pleasing. Congratulations. You see Simon, you see CEO, you see Dr. C, and you say that indeed, that's the kind of lifestyle or thing that I want to have. But you need to recognize and look at what is required of me in order to get the outcomes that I desire so that I can actually not be scammed. That's what makes you scam proof. All right? The scam comes when you are ignorant of the process for you to actually get the outcome that you want. That is the truth. CEO.
So I think it is very good to be wealthy. It is very good to have proper business opportunities in the country. But it is also important to realize that you need a more just system, because many people who are venturing into businesses are getting depressed because the framework and the architecture is very uneven. You look at that naturally Kenyans have gone to school, they are very clever, they really know when to look for that coin, but the environment is not good enough for them to sustain the businesses. And if you look at the last 2 years, there are many businesses in Kenya which are shutting down because of the environment, the tax regime, the many other things, the licensing, the way it's done, the registration process, the ownership structures.
Yeah.
It is important for us to make it a bit easier for Kenyans, one, to do business.
Because we're willing.
Two, to get financing for their businesses. If you are not giving them an opportunity, then people will have more people trying businesses and more of them going bust. And they're going bust every single day, and they're trying new business every single day. But then, why would we be doing that? This is why we ask the government to streamline the processes. Streamline the processes of registering business, financing of businesses. How do you borrow? What is the credit facility? So that we can sit down and see the Kenyans are moving forward. It is not only ambition that takes us up to the top. It is a whole gamut of things.
It's very interesting that yes, and nice that we are entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
but there's so many things that people actually don't tell others about entrepreneurship. And the only thing is because, yeah, people have made some good money out of entrepreneurship, but I think also it's now very important that Kenyans, we begin to tell our stories. Entrepreneurs begin to tell the stories, the highs and the lows, so that people actually understand that it's not always very rosy.
Yes.
But yes, if you work hard,
You can succeed.
you can
But I
succeed.
think the laws can discourage them, because I don't think I'm going to tell someone that my first publication nilifungiwa nayo nyama kwa butchery. It's going to be painful.
It's good to tell. It's important
It's
to tell
good.
that.
It's very good. And
That's
by the
important.
way, those kind of stories are so important. Like this guy, Njenga Karume,
Yeah.
he wrote a book. He was a charcoal seller from the street. And look, he built a multi-million empire. And I think it's so important that even these kind of stories are coming out, because there's so many Kenyans, by the way, who don't believe you can just really start a business, work hard, and actually
succeed.
make and succeed, because a lot of people are getting into politics to just steal money.
And even go further.
And yes.
Let me even go further on that. Even now, let me even go further. Even parents. Parents, please talk to your children even about money. And don't be scared. Telling kids even that money is a bad thing, whatever. Teach them from that basic thing so that they can actually even know the economics, even how to even offer a service or a utility for you to get some money, offering it in a practical way, so they can actually even know going up that indeed I have to offer some value in order to get an income. And then that's what even gets them to even know that indeed when you get older and someone now gives you money and yet you've not offered any value, you know that you're being scammed.
You see, the problem is that most African businesses do not go past the second generation because of not teaching kids how you manage. An Indian or an Asian business goes to third, fourth generation, and they can create wealth. An African business rarely goes beyond the first generation. Rarely.
But you see, some
I
kids
have a
don't want to be like their parents. Like,
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
want
no,
to
no.
be, my dad has a hospital. I don't want to be a doctor.
But you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to join the business.
You
What
don't
we
have
need
to.
to be training our children.
How to do it.
Not even how to do it. That's one way. But also to look at the most critical thing.
Which is?
Knowing how to look for talent and reward talent to work in that business. You see, this is the thing, and that's why, you know, I said I'm going to comment later on that wedding. I was talking about George Bezos' wedding and how an average Amazon employee, how much they earn and how they are treated. Yeah. It's a business that has done very well. A lot of Kenyan parents, we lie to our children. We are ashamed of the business that we do. We are actually training our children to go and work in other organizations. Let the
But not
children
work for
spend
you,
time
yeah.
with you. Not every Saturday they are going to the mall, going I don't know where. Let them stay. Let them go to work. I think we need to have a day when all parents who are running a business go to their parents' businesses to actually see what they do. And then tell them to read, to look at when they are looking at a financial statement. Do they know what to look out for? Can they get proper talent, and can they reward? Because there's no way you're going to have a business if you're not rewarding talent.
I agree with you. Even, but don't make that going to the work as if it's a punishment to the kid. Well,
Let's go for a short break. We'll be right back on Let's Be Real.
and cheers to you for staying right here on Let's Be Real. Indeed, we're telling you stories that will go down well with a good Samantha's wine. So make sure, I hope you got one right there. Right there, yes. You're of age now. Wait, you got right there and take it down. As Maria gets us ready for the next story. Maria, talk to us.
Okay, I am going to talk about the WHO, the ones that...
Who? WHO?
Yes, World Health Organization.
Okay. Got you.
It's WHO, yes. So anyway, there's this vaccination, the measles and measles rubella, as well as typhoid vaccine that is being given. Normally, as parents, we know that we do it at 9 months and at 18 months, that vaccine. But now, without any proper sensitization, I'm saying that because, let me use myself as an example. I only got a WhatsApp text with a form to fill and sign that they are going on this day to get a vaccination. That is the first time I heard of it. But now, according to news online and offline, a lot of parents are not doing it, they are not agreeing to it, and others are even condemning schools that actually have vaccinated their children without the consent. And I get there are schools that are not used to the consent part of it. They are actually they have been vaccinated. You come home and the child tells you I was vaccinated. Yes, it could be important because if you live in a poor sanitization area, typhoid vaccine would be helpful. If maybe you missed the measles vaccine or you would like to repeat, yes, that could be very important. But are they doing the right thing by... And let me, before I ask that question, there are some parents who are complaining that they've missed polio several times on going to the hospital. And polio, we know, is mandatory. But they've missed it severally when they go to the hospital. So, is it the right way to vaccinate our children? Is that the right measures they took? Is that the right path they did? Or they should have done better? Should I? I'm not starting with Dr. C. Kindly, someone.
You are starting with me.
Go ahead, start there. Start those sides. Go ahead.
No, it's because we had an earlier conversation. And me, I'm just looking at the bigger picture.
Okay, what is it?
The bigger picture. First of all, number one, you know me, I'm a Gen Z. Most parents right now are millennials. Yeah? If you didn't go to school when Kibaki gave everyone free education, don't blame anyone. You can go and do this research online about vaccines and all that. Number two, what a lot of people don't understand is that vaccination, some vaccinations, yeah, are actually mandatory. And if you don't get vaccinated, you should go and live in isolation because you're going to it's a public health hazard if you're not vaccinated. Because then you're going to reintroduce the same disease into the population. Third, We all know that the US cut off a lot of the aid that we were getting. That does not justify why so many Kenyans were depending on a foreign master for their healthcare system. I'm sure we are working on ours, Sha. I hope it will be fluent very soon and everyone will be happy with it. That said, when we are looking at a bigger picture and we are looking at sensitization, so I think at this time when people are grappling with budgets, are you going to pay to sensitize, or are you just go in and vaccinate? And that's why I know I'm on a KTN platform, but we actually need to have a national platform where people can just go there and get the information.
That's KBC.
Yeah.
Or the other one.
You need to pay your TV and broadcast licenses.
But you see,
and the money, you see, that's the thing. Maybe it was budgets. I don't know.
No, you know, but the problem is this. We don't trust our government right now. And instead of them using money to convince us to get the vaccine.
So what would you rather? You want your, okay, I know there's a shortage of polio. So you want some diseases can actually kill. So do you want the children to die out of these killer diseases? Or which one? If you had to do one thing, are you going to spend money on sensitization, or are you going to spend money on the actual vaccines? And I think that's where the healthcare system is. We agree, we are broke. We don't have the budget.
I think
just let me finish.
Go ahead.
On that. But that said, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. So the conspiracists are actually there talking about what vaccines, what diseases and what vaccines can carry, and how there's, I don't know, this gets something that is introducing things into the vaccines, introducing infertility things. I don't know, but there's a lot of conspiracy theories around it. So I think, by the way, I never got that thing, and I have a child.
You never
below
got
those things of vaccinations. I never got anything. And yes, if you're going to put an injection into my child, you better tell me. Otherwise.
You see, that's the point. That's what I'm saying.
But I will read about it.
I've read about it, and and even gone to my
pediatrician. Was your child
pediatrician.
vaccinated?
No, they did not.
So if people did not go for Kibaki's free education, kusoma,
No,
mjue
you know
kitu
why?
inatendeka kwa
Why?
watoto.
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
They gave me, I get a message on Friday, understand, on Friday in the evening, and the vaccines are on Monday.
You withdraw your children.
On Friday, that's when you are told to sign this form, and the vaccines are on Monday.
See, you wanted to say something?
What is that?
So for me, I think, first of all, we are overreacting. Completely overreacting.
I thought so.
We need to relax.
Yeah, we are overreacting because you know the processes of procuring vaccines in this country. You know that we owe Gavi. Do you know what Gavi is?
That Bill Gates thing.
Do you know what Gavi is?
It's for Bill Gates still.
No.
Government
is where the Kenyan government spends money and gives a donor. The donor puts half of the money. We put half of the money. Oh, yeah. For 3 years, Kenya has not given its share of money.
And we are building churches.
But you see, this vaccine is for who?
Wait.
And UN only.
I want to take you slowly now, because probably there are things which you guys are missing here. So the government has not put money into Gavi. So Gavi has not been supplying us with vaccines as required. So this is the first time they are giving us some of the vaccines. That's why you've missed polio, you've missed all this. It has been a big process for the last 2 years. We've not managed to get the requisite amount of vaccination we require. Now, there is a campaign going on vaccination. It is in the papers.
You see?
There is a communication. No. There is. When we don't see it, it doesn't mean the government is not doing it. I'm the first critic of this government, by the way. But I give them a fair share and exactly what they have done. See, when people listen to us, they'll think, but this thing is running. It's running on KTN. It's even in the Nairobian front page, the strip on those missiles. It's an ad there. In the Standard, there is. So it is us to consume it. Now, the thing is, as parents, what is your role? That's what I am coming to. What is your role when it comes to vaccination of your children? One, we must agree vaccination is important.
Yeah.
It is key. It is critical. That's why we don't have many people who are physically disabled, because at one time, the world was full of disabled people, and then they realized if you vaccinate, then this thing will go. Nowadays, if you get a person who is disabled, it is the negligence of a parent.
Yes.
So we are saying that the government has rolled out a campaign. Just go and read and see whether it is, your kid is in there. But I would tell Kenyans out there are always a lot of conspiracy theories when it comes to any vaccination, when it comes. That, oh, you will not give birth. No one is interested of you stopping to give birth. These vaccinations are universal. They are not manufactured for Kenyans only. It is only that at a certain age, even us, we were injected with those vaccination things. It depends with what you're doing.
That's true.
But but the stories about it is,
Which stories?
first of all, after reading about it, because I've read about it, not everyone actually needs the measles vaccine. If you are fully vaccinated at 9 and 18 months, you do not need that vaccine.
And that's why we are saying, let's give parents the opportunity.
But you see now
to make the decision.
To
You
make the decision.
don't sign that consent
Yeah,
form.
don't sign if you don't
I mean,
want
Don't
to.
sign it and go to the school.
Yeah.
Whatever, prioritize. Go to your child's
And you
school and
see,
say,
there
my
are
child
people-
is not
there are-
getting
No,
And
actually
if-
for them, if you don't sign, they don't do a thing. That's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah,
They're
that's the best
disciplined.
thing, because you see there are many parents who might listen to us and say, hey, I will not
Yeah.
allow my kids not to be vaccinated.
But
we are
also,
saying,
we understand there are others who missed last year when we had shortage of
We are
vaccines.
saying-
Because we had not paid Gavi.
Yes.
Gavi. So we
So
are
I
saying,
understand.
Now we've paid.
Yeah.
Now we are getting
we
vaccinated.
paid
Parents,
some.
take your children
Yeah.
to be
We
vaccinated.
paid some.
Yeah.
Speaking of kids, let's just even discuss another situation in which now Alliance Girls High School. So lately what's been going on is that now there's a teacher called Peter Ayiro. Now what happened was he was a CU patron. He has been there for over 20 years in Alliance Girls High School. Well, what happened was he was now mentoring these girls in a spiritual way, making sure that they actually now are spiritually grounded, and then they actually now come out there, students, ready for the world, ready to conquer. And then what happens immediately after they finish from, well, he says, sasa now you are an adult. Kucha, niko ka sweetie. Wewe. That's what happened. And then now, this happened now, there's been several exposés. But do you know what happened? In 2018 and also 2022, those things were brought up. But then what happened? The BOM, they, shh, nyamaza. Those are things we keep in the dark. Nyamaza. So you know how we keep those things in the dark, as many of us as Kenyans. Then, so that actually now led now to Africa Uncensored, which actually now is another Kenyan African stream platform that actually now released an expose. And they were actually now allowed. There was a lawsuit
They went to court,
blocking them. Then now, the lawsuit was actually now reversed. Then now it came out. And everything spilled out. Before my thoughts, like, what do you guys even have to say when it comes to when you see even many teachers, because there are many situations like this all across many high schools, especially girls' high schools. You see even a situation in which even a girl would try to put herself in a position in which she endears herself to the teacher. And at the same time, you see a teacher who actually now sees a girl who's avidly trying to do better in school and trying to get better grades and try to take advantage of that particular situation. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I never wanted to go to CU when I was in high school. When I got to school, I would go to Catholic. There's a time someone came from CU and insulted me. I did not feel like she was saved. Anyway, that's besides the point. If they were coming from school, were they of age? Like, are they over 18? And was it consensual? You see, me asking that is because he was not doing it in school. Yes, he was taking advantage. It was very wrong because it looks like he was taking advantage of, I know you, I can convince you, and all that. And then I know many of you. You see, for 20 years, that is too much. But was it consensual, first of all? Like, I'm coming for you, now you are 18, that's why I want you. Because you see, we cannot rule this as maybe, let's say, like someone who, like, let's say a pedophile situation, because these ones were coming, when they were in school, he was respectful, he was doing nothing, right?
Continue.
So this is a case of so many from one school, but was it consensual? Because, first of all, he was convincing them after school. Another thing, if these girls were willing to do that, was it happening also in school? Because you could rule out that it was consensual outside, but in school maybe there was something only that we did not know. This story lacks one thing specifically. Were these girls coming out to speak out?
Yeah.
Teacher? Was the teacher molesting them, or this teacher wanted all of us after school? Was it a molestation?
It was a sexual thing. They're actually engaging in the act.
They were engaging?
Yeah.
Willingly?
Both of them.
Both of them willingly?
Yeah.
Above 18?
Yeah. But what does that mean? Now here's the thing, Maria. Let me push this against you in the sense that let me be very clear when I say this, and not even hesitation at all. There is nothing as disgusting as I see when people who want to put themselves in a moral high ground, saying you're the CU patron, saying that you want to become a pastor, saying that indeed that you actually want to now guide people spiritually, and then you are the same person taking advantage of the same people that you actually even lead. The issue here is this. I put a moral high standard on men when you are older and you are in a position of leadership, and yet even if that young girl, are you telling me a 18-year-old is the one that's now diverting you, and you have no sense of yourself, and you're over here a 40-year-old and you have no sense in noting that indeed this person just sees me as a father figure, and they're conflating that with sexual attraction. Even if that girl is attracted to you, you have the foolishness and the ignorance to actually even engage, and then even go further, that now even cases have even come out, and then go even further to claim, even hide behind the whole emblem of I am actually being a spiritual guidance to all, to even these young girls.
What?
And then the thing is spiritual guidance, and that's the main thing. So even one big level of, that's even one thing I hate, even when it comes to even pastors who even do this, when it comes to even spiritual leaders. Any one of them that hide behind that, I think it's almost cowardice, I think it's foolishness. And not only that, these are probably even people, honestly, let me say this, these are people who literally have an issue even getting even lucky in their own routes. These are people who don't even get laid on their own. These are people who don't even have enough game to even go out there and get themselves even some real women in their sheets. These are people who just know how to play with kids because they cannot play with grown women.
You know why I
listen, these are people, these are grown men who can actually not have no idea on how even to not make sure that even separating between sexual and actually now knowing how to be a real role model. When you have a real impact in someone's life, it's not necessarily how you engage them even emotionally, even sexually, it's how even you guide that person to become a better person who they want to be. Because now, 20 years down the line, guess what's happening? Now, a lot of people, are they coming back and saying, this was the kind of teacher who taught me how to be a better person? This was the kind of person who actually led me to be the kind of person that I am right now. Or is this the demon that actually now took advantage of me when I was younger because I did not know better? Is this the demon who actually now said, come meet me at my ward, my place, I will give you extra notes because I understand that you're failing in math? Is that the demon that even now is saying that indeed, I understand you're falling back a little bit on your CU, and let me come even, let's pray together.
Back,
and that's the truth. Yes, that's the truth. When it comes to even prayers.
You are falling back.
CEO?
Before CEO says, let me say something, Simon. I would flip this and say, there's also a parenting problem a little bit, Papa.
On who?
You see, when your kids are taught by a teacher and their relationship kinda is questionable, like there's no way they'll come and tell you that our CU teacher is good.
How would the parent know?
How would the parent know?
Yeah, how do the parent know?
If you give your children sex education from a young age.
What age?
They
what
will
age?
know.
What age?
Okay, nowadays we say we start them very early.
But
Nowadays
most of those, one of the girls who I actually happen to know, very senior journalist, yeah, and you know the way she was saying, for her parents had actually gone through a divorce, so it was a very precarious time for her.
Yeah.
She didn't know why her parents had actually divorced, because they had never quarreled, because quarrels are what leads to a divorce. So emotionally, she was in a mess. So this person provided a really good security for them.
And in the name of God.
Yes. So anyway, before I give my point to you, I think.
So I think this story it's crazy because one, I think teachers, it happens, yes. But my problem is that 20 years later,
Imagine.
20 years later, that's where I have a problem with. You waited for 20 years later for one to say, and then 10 of you come out?
No, they did come out. They were blocked. 2018 until 2022. There were litigations that
But
were
you see,
blocked
that's
out.
still
People
Maybe
did
you
speak.
thought you were the
People
special
did
one.
speak.
Yeah.
People
Maybe
did speak.
some of these people,
They did
sorry, some of these people, thought, in fact, the particular story that I read, she thought she was the only one. She thought this was just a special something that just happened with us. So let me just keep it there. And you see, it depends on the personality of the. So let me give my own story. You know, I wasn't molested in any way, but I remember at Butere Girls, we had just done this science congress, and at the same time there was this teacher who I think came with us or was leading another team of students. So when we arrived back to school, he asked me, how was Nairobi? And I think in passing, I just said, it was just the way you left it. And he felt that was like I had been rude. And he really wanted me expelled. And he wanted me to actually, for almost like, I don't know how many days, like I could not even attend his class. I could not, he wanted me to apologize and all. But you know, I've always been kichwa ngumu. I refused to bow down and actually, so you can imagine if a child does not have that really special, whatever it is in them, to tell you go to hell. I literally, in so many words, it became a headmistress issue or whatever, almost a disciplinary. Finally, I was not expelled because there was no reason to expel me, and I was ready to. So some children are not as strong as that. So you think so that perhaps it's just me alone. You're not speaking up. But when other people, you mean even us.
Special?
Yeah, so I wasn't really special. This guy was just, that's why, the 20 years later.
CEO, one thing, or even what you said was very dangerous. What you just said right there is not 20 years later. It's the fact that the Board of Management actually suppressed this so many times.
To ruin their
They
name.
actually, yes.
They cannot ruin their name.
No, they
They
didn't. They suppressed it. Yeah, they suppressed
They
it.
suppressed
It's
to
not
fail
with
them.
the teacher. My problem cannot be with the teacher because there are structures on how people relate in schools. You want to tell me a teacher in a school will be molesting kids for all that long, the headmasters get to come and go, the complaints are brought,
Yeah.
and no one is acting on it. When this teacher has a very big godfather where?
Because not even that, this teacher was actually very influential in the sense he even had a big name. He was the one actually bringing a lot of influential people to the school. He was bringing a lot towards the school.
Yeah,
but
so
that in itself does not in any way abscond him of any responsibility. What do you mean you cannot see
It's a
anything wrong with the
godfather
teacher?
situation.
See,
No.
no. What do you mean that you cannot see anything wrong with the teacher? What do you mean you can't?
You know me,
Like, what do you mean you can't? Like,
No.
even as a man, you should be able to even see the wrong
Listen.
that even this guy has
No,
done.
the school is
And
the
not even,
problem,
relax,
Simon.
relax, Maria, for a second. No, on a serious note, why can't you not even see as a fellow
Simon.
man that indeed this guy here, not even that, CU people are the easiest to manipulate based on ideology
Simon,
alone. They're the easiest.
Who said I do not see?
You said that right now. You just said
Listen,
it. Like I
listen,
cannot plus maybe you just said it right now.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
You know you are not listening. You're talking too much.
Go ahead, but let
I
me
like
know.
people
Like
who
repeat
listen,
it, but repeat it again. I
No,
want you to repeat what you
listen,
just
I
said.
want you to listen.
Go ahead. Say
You don't
what you need to
listen.
say. Go ahead, say it then.
You see, in this world, you must understand the genesis of the problem.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the genesis of this problem. I'm not absconding anyone.
Okay.
I'm saying, for 20 years, where were these people? Where is the school administration? What is the board doing? Then we come and ask ourselves, what is the leadership of schools doing?
Yes.
But at the same time,
Listen to me.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
didn't interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
So listen. So what was the school doing? The headmistresses have been there. The principals have been there. The school parents and BOG have been the BOG of a school. I used to go to school at night where my son is. I understood what is going on. And we discussed these issues. My problem is not only with the teacher. My problem is with the organization of the school and how the ministry is doing with it. And then my other issue is, it is in Alliance High School. How many other schools is happening? And that's why I'm saying it is important to look at the whole totality of this problem, then address it
That's true.
at the top of nature. Because one, the Minister of Education has to tell us, are there students in these colleges, secondary schools, who are being abused? And what is the level? You remember when such an incident happens, when there was devil worshipping in schools, there was a whole report which went through and we understood where it started.
Was there actually devil worshipping?
Yes, and there was a devil worshipping report which was published.
It was
A
real,
devil
it was
worshipping
happening.
report.
Yes. So we need to get to the bottom of this issue and not look at Peter Airo as the only person who is doing it.
Yeah, true.
We are only lucky that that's the only one who's been seen.
For now, he's the
But
poster
there are
child.
Many, yes, there are so many people
That's
in
true.
schools who are doing that. And that's why I'm saying, let's look at this thing critically, not by saying, oh, you are what, you are what. No, no, no. Let's look at all the schools where people are being abused. And it happens even in girls' schools, in boys'
Especially.
schools as well.
Yeah, and then boys will not even come out even say
And
anything.
they will never
because-
say.
Yeah.
So the people who are aiding,
Yeah.
if you know something is happening,
Yeah,
then
come
you're
out.
aiding it. Yeah, because then this thing is going to require a lot of responsibility. And I'm just wondering, my heart goes out now to the family, because this guy, he's a married man, he's got children, and apparently his wife was also, apparently, not sure, apparently, was also in the same school. So meaning, how did they meet?
Yeah,
He
same
was
thing.
also...
Yes, how
But
did they meet?
I don't feel sorry for him anyway. Whatever happens to him,
I'm not
happens to
feeling
him.
sorry for him. I feel sorry for his family in terms of his children, if he has any, and his wife, because then these calls for, they need to audit this whole process, like what happened.
Let me speak
You
on,
need-
on a practical level. My mom is actually a HR in this in the TSC when it comes to even hiring and firing this. She has told me many stories like this. There's a reason why I'm even passionate about this, because she's told me many stories in which she has to sit on the panel and decide this individual who has come before me, and she has to listen and litigate the situation. This person now has to say their piece, and then the girl has to come and say their piece, and vice versa. There's actually processes that they have to undergo. Then, of course, they decide to now off-board, and then the person, she has to now give the firing letter or stuff like that. Now, these are things, even as he was mentioned, that do happen everywhere. Question is, why can't we put even measures that indeed, if this does happen, beyond just firing, punish the school?
Of course.
Punish the school in the sense that when it comes to even funding or whatever, punish the school, even pulling back even some funding that even comes to the government. There's a punishment in which there should be a measure in which that if you are seen as if you did not take any active steps to now push out, or even when any situation was brought up, you did not take it seriously and you did not push it forward, then your school is liable to defunding. That would make people act very fast.
Or even changing the
So,
leadership of
you
the
see,
school.
the responsibility is for the principal.
So the
When I lead the school, I must know how my teachers are behaving.
Yeah.
And clearly, you must have people who are informing you who you, this
Yeah,
teacher,
Nafanya,
who you. You know, these things, you have to get intelligence. You cannot allow, 3 headmasters have been there, and this guy has been abusing kids. It's impossible. It's preposterous.
Yeah, exactly. And this must have been something that's been known.
Yeah.
Because, something like 20 years. And then 2018 also, this is something that
Yeah.
was known.
But anyway,
Yeah.
remember, AIBC has also been...
Banned also.
No.
Well, dismantled.
The court has,
it was not disbanding. It was only saying that the notification was wrong, but they're being sworn in now.
Oh, now they're being sworn in.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're going to have elections.
So you're gonna
They've
have
been sworn
elections.
in, yeah.
Oh, so
you
once-
see? My
see?
good
So
image
just like the kids said,
So-
like the kids said earlier, Ruto.
But now...
Imagine, I don't want to be.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
okay. Let us see.
Yeah.
Yay.
But I want us to have our last words, and the
Yeah.
first word I always want to say, the Nairobi weather is behaving like girls when they meet a man without enough money.
The Nairobi girls,
Ay.
the Nairobi girls, what?
This is Nairobi weather.
It's behaving like a girl who meets a man with no
Not
money.
money.
Dr. Sick.
So mine is just to bring back home a lot of the things, and there's something I really want to start. Earlier on, I talked about the conspicuous consumption of money. I think so that I know Kenyans have taken to the streets, they are protesting on all these things. I want us to just switch to gear 2, also still on the same speed. I've seen a lot of people, especially politicians, throwing around money. So I think what we as Kenyans need to do, you know, the way they did in Venice for Jeff Bezos' wedding, if you see somebody conspicuously consuming money, which we don't know we know their salaries, we don't know the origin. These people, we need to boycott their events. They call you to these big fat event, don't go. Yeah, we need to start shaming them. We need to start shaming them. Why? Because when you talk of, okay, you know the way this boy was going to places, this young man, and saying that this project is not happening. We need to start putting context. When you hear, oh, there's no vaccine here, so let's do the mathematics. How much would it cost? How much would it cost? And then compare these two things so that we stop plundering of public funds.
Maria, last word.
My last word will go to parents. Beware, be alert in your kids. Try and talk to your children as much as you can, because you never know what they are going through. But if you have a close relationship with them, you'll likely get warning alerts on such things. They will not easily be abused if they're your friends and you parent well.
Yes.
That's true. And Kenya, this is just a firm reminder that indeed the government is at war with you. And now, because clearly they're not listening to you. And that's just us keeping it real, right?
Yes.
So we'll see them next week.
Next one, yes.
All right,
And cheers
good. All right,
with Samantha wines.
All right, and pour yourself some Samantha's wine.